Iceman has made his debut. Jonathan David has made his debut for Juventus. So what did we learn? That is the million-dollar question. What did we learn? Is he good? Is he crap? What's he good at? What's he not good at? How can Juventus utilize him in a way to maximize his full potential and to maximize his full skill set? And how, in my opinion, this skill set can genuinely be a game changer for two players in this current Juventus squad. It's like I forgot what I was going to say. Two players, in my opinion, are going to have a crazy campaign if Jonathan David continues to play the game this way. It's genuinely a game changer. Now, what do we make of his overall performance? We only got ourselves about 45 minutes. I actually saw a few things that I liked, okay? Besides the fact that he looks a little bit rusty. He looks like he hasn't played football in about 2 months, which is completely fine. It's pre-season. I actually saw a few things which I liked in comparison to what I've seen over the past few years from somebody like Dusan Vlahovic. Okay, now let's first start off with link play. This is so important. Like, it's genuinely so crazy how Jonathan David went off the pitch, having completed, I believe, 14 out of 15 passes. Dusan Vlahovic came on for the second half, and he completed, I think, 10 out of 15. It's actually crazy. Like, sometimes you just don't have to make the video. Sometimes you genuinely don't have to make the video. But anyways, Jonathan David, the thing that I proper liked about him is link play. I like his positions, and I feel like he definitely showcased it to the whole world. I made a video about him, I believe, a month ago, where I was like, he plays as a striker, but when you look at like the way he positions himself, the areas of the pitch that he likes to occupy, you genuinely get the sense that he's like a number 10. He's like a centre forward, a second striker. And this is why these two players, in my opinion, will explode. Well, one of them Juventus haven't even signed yet, and it's Kolo Muani. The other one is Kenan Yildiz, but we will touch on that later. He likes to drop deep. He likes to play with his back to goal, but the thing is, he's comfortable. You can like playing with your back to goal, but you're not really good at it. No, he drops deep. Look at him. Look at the areas that he's picking up the ball. It's congested. There's players on him. No, he's comfortable playing with his back to ball. He's comfortable holding up the ball. The thing I truly loved about him the most, he doesn't take too many touches of the ball. I love it. I love players like this. Players, you give them the ball, one touch to control, one touch to pass. Pass and go. Pass and go. Come on, let's keep the ball moving. Left, right, left, forwards, backwards. Keep recycling. I love it. Sometimes, as a player, when you do get the ball, let's say it takes you 2 touches to control the ball, and then it takes you 2-3 touches just to try and spot a teammate. Brother, next thing you know, you had 4-5 touches. All of the possible spaces that were open are now closed. All of the players that were in attack are now back in their defensive shape. It's all about moving the ball as quick as possible. And I loved it. You could see from all of these photos, he's picking up the ball in congested areas. He's spreading play to the left. He's spreading play to the right. He's holding up the ball in the channels, waiting for the team to push higher up. And the thing that you could see, he's very efficient and he's very effective in the ball. And I mentioned this a month ago. The fact that he's gifted with both feet, it means he can spray passes with either foot without having like that restriction of, ooh, I'm not the best of passes on my left foot. No, he's comfortable technically. Now, what's the second thing which caught my eye? I actually really liked his movement. I really liked his movement. There was one moment where I was like, this dude will score a lot of goals because of this one small thing. Like, how many times did they tell you football, it's a game of small margins. Like, it's a game where the finer details, the smallest thing can decide whether you get 1 point, 0 points, or 3 points, whether you go on to win a trophy, or you go on to get relegated, or you go on to get knocked out. I loved this. Nico Gonzalez carries the ball. Now, he makes the run, Jonathan David. He makes the run. Nico Gonzalez doesn't feed him at the time that Jonathan David truly wanted. How many times do you see strikers in this position? They just keep running. When the pass comes, you're offside. Oh, they get it. No, he runs. Once he realizes I'm not getting the ball, he genuinely pauses. Yeah, now I can only show it to you guys through photos. He genuinely pauses to wait for the defensive line to drop a little bit deeper to get in line with him, and then he continues to run. And that's when Nico Gonzalez feeds him the ball. If he had scored this goal, in my opinion, this would have been the Jonathan David goal because it would have had great movement and great finish. And now, like I said at the beginning, he looks a little bit rusty. It will come with time. But for me, just that little pause, that little 1-2 second pause is the difference between being onside and offside. And the difference between being onside and offside is the difference between having a shot on goal and not having a shot on goal. Now, seeing as we're talking about his movement, there was also another opportunity which he created for himself. Juventus go into the attack. I believe it was Moretti. He carries. Now, so many times you see strikers, they just stick to the centre halves because they're programmed into believing, I am a striker and I have to stick to the centre half. I have to play in the centre of the goal. No, as a striker, especially when you're playing a one striker system, it's not as if like you're playing a 4-4-2. No, you're playing one striker system. As a striker, you practically have license to drift deep, to go in behind, to go to the left, to go to the right. Go where the space is, okay? Because if you go where the space is, you drag defenders with you, which then creates space for other players. It's all beginning to make sense, okay? Anyways, Moretti carries the ball. He gives it to Jonathan David. You can see he's assessed the situation. The centre is congested. And at the same time, if I stand there, I now occupy space for potentially Moretti to carry into. He drifts out wide to the right-hand side. Now, on another day, he puts this in the back of the net. But for me, these small things, like Dusan Vlahovic would have stayed in the centre because in his eyes, I'm a striker. And this isn't really me like trying to bash Dusan Vlahovic. I just feel like every striker plays the game in a different way. Some want to stay in that central area to try and get themselves an opportunity. Some are more than happy to go out wide. Scoring from out wide is definitely more difficult than scoring in a central area. But once you've got that confidence, if you know I can go to the right-hand side and cut in on my left, I can go to the left and cut in on my right, it brings such a different dimension to the team. And I'll be honest, like for 45 minutes, I feel like he had a very, very, very good cameo. Finally, who are the two players that, in my opinion, can genuinely explode under him? Similar to the goal that we saw that Conceição scored, you could see Jonathan David, even though he's a striker on paper, he likes to drop deep. He practically likes to play as this like roaming number 10. I will go to the left, I will go to the right. This for me is such good news for Juventus. To be fair, it's good news for whoever the future coach is in 1, 2, 3 years time. The fact that you've now got yourself an attacker that can play on the left relatively comfortably. He can play on the right relatively comfortably. He can drop deep relatively comfortably. And he could also lead the line, be the focal point relatively comfortably. Hashtag relatively comfortably. This is what Jonathan David is, okay? When I look at Kenan, when I look at Kolo Muani, I always said that should be the trio. That should be the trio. Why? Kenan, he can run in behind, but he can drop deep. So that's already a positive. Kolo Muani, he can drop deep, but he can also stretch the pitch. Kolo Muani for me is very, very, very fast. Jonathan David doesn't look the fastest, okay? I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, Jonathan David drops in, drags the centre halves with him. Kolo Muani has the physicality, spin, run in behind. Kenan Yildiz, the exact same thing. And I feel like both of them are very, very penetrative in the final third. But all three of them as a trio, they can play all over that attacking third. We've seen Kenan on the right-hand side, on the Thiago Motta. Kolo Muani has genuinely been a utility player his whole career, on the right, as a forward player, on the left-hand side. Jonathan David plays as the number 10 for the Canadian national team. But he can also go on the left, on the right. Because in Tudor's like 3-4-3, the wide players aren't really wingers, if you know what I mean. Like the wing backs are actually the ones that occupy the flanks. These dudes are more like twin 10s, but they have license to go out wide, but they also have license to tuck inside. That is the trio that I probably have the most faith in. Now, of course, one of them, Juventus haven't even signed yet, and it's Kolo Muani. That three is the closest thing Juventus will get, and this is going to sound crazy, to Enrique's PSG. I'm not talking about quality, I'm not talking about potential, I'm not talking about output. I'm talking about the way Enrique utilizes that trio. The thing that's made PSG so difficult to beat is the fact that 1 minute you're playing against Kvaratskhelia. Half an hour later, you're playing against Dembele. Half an hour later, you're playing against Barcola or Desire Doué, okay? You're playing against those dudes. Juventus can follow a very similar blueprint where Kenan, in some moments, you drift out wide to the right-hand side. After half an hour, you switch with Jonathan David. You lead the line, let David go out wide on the right-hand side. That's the trio. I'm being completely honest with you guys. None of this Nico Gonzalez, none of this Coop Miners. Conceição, great goal, but mate, you can come off the bench. That is the trio. That is the trio. But of course, Kolo Muani, they have to sign him. But Jonathan David, his ability to play all over the park, his ability to be a bit more flexible with his versatility will definitely help Juventus. But anyways, let's see what he does against Borussia Dortmund. If you're new, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on another one.